So we were seeing the prarabdha of the saint. Yesterday we saw about the prarabdha that cannot be uh, denied. Prarabdha exists for that body, that equipment actually, because it has already started. Example was given like the arrow. Sanchit karma is burnt up by the firm abidance in the self, and along with that the agami karma also, which got added to sanchit while exhausting prarabdha, that also is burnt. Whatever agami karma is already giving result, that's a part of prarabdha that the saint will go through. And now what karmas the saint is doing, if that gives any agami, meaning if that produces any karma phala which is not yet come, then that will get divided amongst the critics and the devotees. So we had stopped at 453 with the example that if a person realizes that the arrow which is shot, that person shot the arrow thinking it is a tiger, later on realized that no, it is not a tiger, it's a cow. Now the target, now the arrow cannot be stopped. It will go and hit the target. So prarabdha is like that. Na tishtati chinatyeva lakshyam vegena nirbharam. It will go swiftly and it will pierce the target. So prarabdha is like that. So then what is the difference between the Jivan Mukta and us in terms of prarabdha? The difference is we feel we are going through it. Jivan Mukta feels I am untouched by it. So Jivan Mukta abides in Brahman. The Jivan Mukta thinks it is the equipment going through that prarabdha. The identification has been removed. So now 454 gives all the three karmas for the saint. 454. Prarabdham balavattaram khalu vidam bhogena tasya kshayaha samyajnana hutashanena vilayaha prak sanchita gaminam ब्रह्मात्मैक्यमवेक्ष्य तन्मयतया ये सर्वदा संस्थिताः तेषां तत्त्रितयं न हि क्वचिदपि ब्रह्मैव ते निर्गुणम्. In your book, last line you should see, it should be stesham and then tat tritayam, not tantritayam. Earlier, this my book has tantritayam. It is not tantritayam, it is tat tritayam. So, what does he say here? Prarabdham balavattaram. Prarabdha is very powerful because so many lives before, when which karma, what one has done, one doesn't know, but the result is there and it has to be experienced. To experience the result, this body has been taken. So now the body cannot escape. When we say body, it means all the three: gross, subtle, causal, all the three bodies. So this individuality has to experience. You know, the example we always give is that person who, suppose Mr. A has done some terrible crime in, let us say, Madurai. Now that Mr. A has taken a disguise and is living as Mr. B, let us say somewhere in the north, in any place, in Himachal Pradesh, this person has gone. By the time the investigation, everything happens and they reach there, will they arrest him or not? Just because this person has changed the identity doesn't mean that the law will, acquit this person or will not arrest the person, because the doer has to be the experiencer of the result. The place may be different, the name may be different, but the entity who did the action is the same. So prarabdham balavattaram. And this applies to both good and bad. It's not only for bad actions. It is all good, bad, indifferent. For everything it will apply. All those actions which have been done by the entity in the past, to experience which that entity has taken this form now, this body. See, in that earlier example, that Mr. A went to the north not to experience this result. Mr. A went actually to escape. Here the body has been specifically taken to experience the prarabdha karma phala. So that is not escapable. The whole lifespan of that person, the experiences the person will go through in that life, those are all determined by prarabdha. How that person will respond to that experience, that is that person's free will. But what that person will experience, that is prarabdha. So that cannot be denied. Prarabdham balavattaram khalu vidam. Bhogena tasya kshaya. It will get exhausted only by going through it. Samyak jnana hutashanena vilayah prak sanchita agaminam. Sanchita and agami are destroyed by samyak jnana, by proper understanding that I am not this BMI, I am pure consciousness. So the bundle of karma which is the total bundle of karma plus the agami which already got added to this sanchita, that is destroyed by the fire of knowledge. Samyak jnana hutashanena vilaya. Brahmatmaikyam avekshya tanmayataya ye sarvada samsthitaha. Now the sanchita and agami are destroyed. Because of this knowledge that I am Brahman, Brahmatmaikyam avekshya, having realized that the self in me, Atma, is Brahman, which is the substratum of the world. And Tanmayataya, Tanmaya means to become one with it, meaning there is no difference then. So it is not an intellectual understanding, but it's a intuitive experience that I am that Brahman, I am not this BMI at all. Ye sarvada samsthita, those who abide in that state at all times. Not go in, come out, go in, come out. That was said before, nididhyasana shilasya. Now is firm abidance. Sarvada samsthitaha. Sthiti means abidance. Samsthiti means complete abidance, that one doesn't come out of that state. Meaning that person doesn't get bound by the delusory idea that I am the individuality. Tesham tatritayam nahi. For such people, they may have the body, mind, intellect may still be there, but they are living in that state of abidance and identification with the self. For them, all the three, tat tritayam, tritayam means the three karmas, prarabdha, sanchita, agami. Nahi kvachidapi. They don't exist. Brahmaivate nirgunam. Because they are that supreme, formless, absolute Brahman. Because that's what they have identified with, and that's the Brahma Jnan that they have achieved, where this entity is dissolved. So see, this very clearly says, for them who are identified with Brahman, none of the three karmas exist. But when we see the body, then from our standpoint, prarabdha exists for that person. But from their standpoint, there is no prarabdha. From their standpoint, we also don't exist, for that matter. Brahman alone exists. Because that's what he says here. Tanmayataya, with complete identification, they live only as Brahman. Even in the Sadhana Panchakam, Shankaracharya ji's last instruction is Atha Parabrahmatmana Sthiyatam. Then you live as Supreme Brahman. It starts with Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. Study the Vedas daily. What will it lead to? Ultimately, Parabrahmatmana Sthiyatam. Live as Brahman, because that's what is our nature. So from the saint standpoint, three don't exist. Sanchita and Agami to anyway burnt, but Prarabdha also from saint standpoint doesn't exist, because the identification of the saint is not with the individual. And that is why when people ask the saint to cure themselves if they have some disease and all that, the saint doesn't even bother, because they are not identified with it, this body, mind, intellect. Ramakrishna had that cancer. Gautam Buddha was poisoned. He ate some, food that was in Bhiksha, whatever food was given, that was not good, and then that led to food poisoning, and then some conspiracy was also there, and then finally he died. He wants to heal himself, he can heal. He can heal the whole world, why can't he heal himself? But the point is, they don't identify with the BMI. So, when somebody asked Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, why don't you tell Mother Kali to cure your cancer? He said, I don't ask Mother for these small things. You just imagine, we have one headache and we will pray, oh Bhagavan, please help me. And he has cancer, and that was throat cancer. He says, I don't ask Mother for these small things, because their identification is with that supreme totality. So from their standpoint, none of this exists actually. So if you say, then whom are they trying to save and what knowledge they are trying to share, from their standpoint, nothing is happening. It will come ahead as we go along. But the point to understand is this, that when the question is asked, Prarabdha for a saint, that is from our standpoint. From their standpoint, all the three don't exist. When we were studying this, my teacher gave this example, a very nice example. He said, if you say that Prarabdha exists for the saint, from the saint standpoint, if you say that, from our standpoint, though we see, so Shastra says Prarabdha exists. But from the saint standpoint, if you say Prarabdha exists, it is like saying that Mr. A had 3 wives. And when Mr. A died, 2 of them have become widows. One is a Sumangli. How is that possible? If Mr. A died, all the 3 have become widows. It cannot be 2 are widows and 1 is Sumangli. So in that way, this entity has died. So all the 3 destroyed. All the 3 don't exist for this person. No, but this entity is there, no? For whom? The question is, the entity is there for whom? We are identified with our body, so we are seeing. In the end of this section, when we will come to there, so very clearly it expresses. So at the moment, to understand this, that for the saint, Prarabdha does not exist from his standpoint. So you see, first line is from our standpoint. Prarabdham balavattaram khalvidam bhogena tasya kshaya. That is from our standpoint. That Prarabdha is very powerful and one has to exhaust it by going through it. That is our standpoint. Last line is their standpoint. Tesham tat tritayam hi nahi kvachidapi brahmaivate nirgunam. That is their standpoint. Because they are identified with that Supreme Brahman, there is none of these 3 karmas affect them. Actually, from their standpoint, they are not even sakshi of this body, mind, intellect going through this. In the sense that it is not that They think that this entity is real and practice Sakshi Bhav, ki now I am a Sakshi of this entity. No, they are the self in the hearts of all. That's why it says Brahman. No? Tanmayataya. They are identified with Brahman. Brahman is a Sakshi of this whole cosmos, if we see a cosmos. Otherwise, Brahman alone is. No duality exists. So where, what to do, what to be a Sakshi of? So this question also arises. When this question arises, one should ask from which standpoint is this question arising? If it is from our standpoint as a jiva, then okay, prarabdha exists for the Mahatma also, and they go through it with full detachment. They don't think that they are going through. And if one says it is from Brahman standpoint, then so there is no question of any prarabdha existing also. So let's continue ahead. Some of these thoughts now are repeated in the a few verses which are upcoming, so we can take them little quickly. Upadhitadatmya vihi, sorry, Upadhitadatmya vihina kevala brahmatmanaivatmani tishthato munehe prarabdha sadbhava kathana yukta swapnartha sambandha katheva jagratah. Upadhitadatmya vihina, one who has no identification with the upadhi, body, mind, intellect, equipment. Kevala brahmatmana eva atmani tishthato munehe. That person lives in that absolute state of kaivalya. Kevala means one. Means non-duality. So in the kaivalya sthiti, with the full identification, brahmana atmana brahmatmana eva atmani tishtati. One lives identified only with Brahman, that I am this pure consciousness which is all pervasive. Prarabdha sadbhava katha na yukta. Hence, to say that prarabdha exists for that person is not correct. Like what? Swapnartha sambandha katheva jagratah. How, what is the relationship between the objects of the dream and the person who has woken up? When the person has woken up, there is no relationship between the waker and the objects of the dream. The objects of the dream have disappeared. Now the person doesn't feel that I am very rich because I was, some multi-billionaire in the dream. Now when the person wakes up and realizes, oh, I am sitting here in Mumbai waiting for this Nisarga cyclone to come. There's nothing. What multi-billionaire? All that was dream. It just disappears, vanishes. So that example is given here, that it is as useless, as meaningless as the objects of the dream. So for the Mahatma, no identification with the Upadhi. Upadhi tadatmya vihina. But then why this explanation is given about prarabdha? Because we are seeing that some, realized people like Janak Maharaj, they get to rule the kingdom. Some people, they get murdered also. Some people have to struggle for even daily food. Prarabdha of every saint is different. We are seeing the saints and we are seeing different states they go through. So then what is the reason? Somebody is a king, somebody is a beggar, somebody is a householder. So many different aspects. So it is not that they who realize Brahman, they all go through the same thing in the world outside. No. Internally, they are abiding in Brahman, there is no doubt. Externally, why each one's life is different? That's because of the prarabdha. So it's an explanation for us because we are seeing the saint and we are seeing the variety. And we have many questions why this person is going through. If the entity is dead, then how is this person going through? So for us, it may have a meaning. People who are in the dream, they will have some connection to the dream world. And the realized master is like the waker who is inside the dream with full knowledge that I am the waker. That dream objects, dream world, dream things of no use to that person actually. But the people in the dream, they are seeing this waker going through so many things. Now why that happened? So one says, this is the prarabdha karma of this dream character, because of which this dream character is going through all this. But you ask that dream character, that person says nothing is happening, I am the waker. The reality is something else. So that's the example given here of the dream. Now, see, even the state of vairagya itself will come where one will experience this. Like how we always give the example of childhood toys. Childhood toys have no meaning to us now. We have grown up. A person who has vairagya itself will have that kind of a relationship with the body, mind, intellect and the world. Dehadi Brahma Paryante Anitya Bhoga Vastuni. That was the definition of vairagya in Vivek Chudamani earlier. Tad vairagyam jihasaya darshana shravanadivihi. There is no desire for seeing, listening, meaning enjoying sense objects. Starting from the body to Brahmalok, everything in this world. And yesterday we saw that also means the past karma, sanchita karma. No desire for any of those. That is the state of vairagya. When that state of vairagya is there, then the person is able to turn within, steadily contemplate on Brahman, abidance in Brahman happens. Now already the world and the objects have no meaning for this person. In the vairagya sthiti. Now this is the sthiti of realization. Definitely no connection. Meaning no identification at all. So that's why swapnartha sambandha katheva jagrata. That's the rhetoric. That what is the connection? There is no connection, it means. Nahi prabuddha pratibhasa dehe dehopayoginyapi cha prapanche karotyahanta mamata idanta kintu swayam tishthati jagarena. So that example is continued here now. Nahi prabuddha pratibhasa dehe. One who has woken up has no identification with this entity, the dreamer. Dehopayoginyapicha prapanche. Even though there may be some use of this body in the dream world, this person, no identification. Karoti ahamta mamata idamta. One may see in the world this person, acting, but karoti ahamta mamata idamta kintu swayam tishtati jagarena. So this na has to be connected to this also. Na karoti ahamta idamta mamata. That person does not have I, my and this. I means with respect to the body. My means respect to the things that one owns or the people one is attached to. And idam means this, the whole universe. Ahamta mamata idamta. Na karoti. No identification. Kintu swayam tishtati jagarena. But this person lives in, by himself, this person is a awakened person. Jagarena. Swayam tishtati jagarena. So this ahamta, idamta, mamata, they all are there only from our standpoint. And we may see that person saying, I am coming here, I will eat this, these are my people, this is my organization. We may see all those things. But for this person, swayameva, this Swayam Tishtati Jagarena. He lives in the waking state. In the awakened state, this person is living. No question of any identification with I or my or this. So no identification with this I or mine or this. Just like the waker who has woken up. The example is here applicable because it appears that there is some I, my and this in the dream for the dream character. But actually the dream character has woken up. So nahi prabuddha pratibhasadehe. Pratibhasadehe means the dream body. Dehopayoginyapi cha prapanche. One may have this body, one may live in this dream world, but no identification. So ahamta, idamta, mamata also, if it is there, it is from our standpoint. From their standpoint, it is badhita, it is false, it doesn't exist. So that's the dream analogy in these two verses. Natasya mithyartha samarthanecha nasangrahastad jagatopi drishtaha tatra anuvrittir yadichin vrisharthe nanidraya mukta iti shyate dhruvam. So he says, na tasya mithya artha samarthana ichha. So this person does not want to prove these unreal objects to be real. Na sangraha tad jagatopi drishtaha. Nor does this person want to maintain the reality of this world. Tad jagato sangraha na api drishtaha. Meaning the person is not struggling to prove that this is real. This is not real anyways. Mithyartha samartha. This illusory world is illusory only. And actually for this person it has disappeared. Then tatra anuvrittihi yadichen mrisharthe. If that person for some reason is still holding on, anuvrittir yadichen mrisharthe, na nidraya mukta iti shyate dhruvam. Then one can say this person is not woken up. This had come little earlier also in the signs of a realized person. This person will live in self-control, will live in that higher state, will not have any attachment to sense objects. If that person has any, then that means that person is not realized. The similar thought here, that this person that is not wanting to prove that this is real. Why will the realized man want to prove this is real? The realized man will try to prove this is not real. That's what all the masters have done. Now we think this world is real, so we are running behind it. The master is saying, Arey Baba, it is not there. And we are telling the master, no, no, it is there. You have a pessimistic attitude to life. We are out to enjoy life. So why will the master try to prove this world is real? It is anyway illusory and it doesn't exist actually. Because that is their state. So na sangraha tad jagatopi drishtaha. They don't try to prove this world is real or to be attached to things here. But if we see that tendency, that means the person has not woken up. Now please remember, this is very difficult to even judge. Because some masters will live also like that. Now in Janak Maharaj example, how will one know that this person is realized? Unless one observes very closely and associates, one knows this person has gone beyond body consciousness. There is complete identification with the self. Otherwise, living in the kingdom, one has to handle all administrative matters and money and enjoyment and expansion and war and whatnot. Internally, this person has no attachment to that, doesn't even think he is doing anything. There is no entity doing anything. The person has woken up. In the dream, it may appear that dream character has some kind of role and some things to do and seems very coherent and purposeful also. But the person has woken up. So that person who has woken up, who again enters the dream, will not even try to be attached to anything in the dream, will not try to protect the dream. If that person is trying, that means one has not woken up. Na nidraya mukta iti shyate dhruvam. Still that person is sleep in the ignorance only. So this shloka is to say that in a realized person, no attachment will be there to any object, because ahamta, idamta and mamata, all the three in the earlier shloka itself they said is falsified. It doesn't exist. Still, if somebody is seeing that some person is insistent, either it may be for the good of some other people, or it means this person is attached, pretending to be realized. And truth anyway cannot be stopped for a long time. It will reveal. Nobody can fake realization, though there are people who try to fake it. What does human being not try to fake? Everything human being tries to fake, including realization. Pose as though one is a great Mahatma. But how much can one fake? Because the heights of realization are something else. Nobody can fake it. So if the person is identified with the body, the person will try to protect something or the other in the world for one's pleasure. Now, if you ask the question that what about the great masters who come to protect dharma samsthapana, who protect the shastra rakshanam, then what about them? Have they not woken up? Are they still in sleep? Now again, please remember that ahamta, idamta, mamata, is it out of that? It is not out of that. It is not that they want glory out of protecting dharma or shastra. It is not that they think that this alone is mine, so I will protect and I will destroy all those who are opposing it. So these are my people, followers of my dharma. These are not followers of my dharma. What kind of delusion is that? For the jiva, for Bhagavan or for a realized master, everybody is at one level, everybody is Brahman only. At other level, none of this exists. So there is no ahamta, mamata, idamta. And again, we are the jiva as an individual. So for us, Jagat is real. Then Ishvara is also real. Then Ishvara is doing the job of Dharma Samsthapana and Shastra Rakshanam. The individual is not doing. The individual is an equipment of Ishvara to do all this. The individuality has died already. So that we have to understand in the bigger context and understand the intricacies properly, so that there is no confusion. Because otherwise we may brand a realized master's efforts also like this, saying, oh, this person is not yet woken up. That means one very interesting thing is there if you think about it. In Bhagavatam, when we read, Krishna Bhagavan came to establish dharma, okay? And he destroyed so many of these asuras, and he gave the knowledge of the Gita also, and he established dharma as his duty. Bhagavan did what he had to do. But the what should we use the word? The contradiction, if that is the right word. The contradiction of that is, the moment Bhagavan left this world, Kali Yuga entered. So what does that mean? Does that mean all efforts of Bhagavan went for a waste? No. We are still reading Gita in Kali Yuga. We are still trying to follow that or not. So Bhagwan came, he did his duty and he went. That is from our standpoint. But if from Brahman standpoint, Ajo Pisan Avyayatma. He is Aja only, unborn, who never took form. So Ajo Pisan Avyayatma Bhutanam Ishvaro Pisan. So as long as I as a Jiva exists, then there is a Jagat and there is a Ishvara, and Ishvara is the Karta. Ishvara will protect Dharma also. And Ishvara will do this whole Leela of Dharma Samsthapana also, and then the evil people also will be there, and then he will destroy the evil also. But if you see the bhav of the Jivan Mukta, of even an avatar, strange thing is Duryodhan, the daughter of Duryodhan is married to son of Sri Krishna. How strange is that? Bhagwan is not doing discrimination. These are my people, these are not my people. For Bhagwan, everybody is one and the same. I am only all this. That's the experience of the Lord. But again, there is a role. So Duryodhan, by his karma, is doing bad things. So there will be karma phala for it. So there is a system created. But all are appearances of Bhagwan only. So the thinking that the Dharma Samsthapana Bhagwan is trying to do, so that means Bhagwan is attached to that. Or a realized person like Gurudev or a Vivekananda, they struggled so much to establish Dharma. That means they are in this category, na nidraya mukta. No. It is not that category. Because there is no I, there is no my, there is no sense of this psychological distinction and identification with the BMI. And we are seeing them doing it. From their standpoint, that is also not happening. So that's why it is said that to describe Bhagwan is easy, but to describe Jivan Mukta is very difficult. To describe Brahman is easy. To describe Jivan Mukta is very difficult because Brahman has only one standpoint. I am Brahman, over. The Jivan Mukta goes between different standpoints, but actually that Jivan Mukta doesn't go through different standpoints. We are the people who are creating these standpoints. From our standpoint, so we say this man has prarabdha also, and why this person is going through, and 20,000 questions we will ask. But Jivan Mukta is living in that Mukta Avastha of Brahman, what they said, na? Brahman Tanmayataya. They live with that attitude only. But if one has to describe who is a Jivan Mukta and why the Jivan Mukta is living like this, that is very difficult. That cannot be explained without creating some confusion. And even if we explain, that can only be to some extent intellectually comprehended, but until the experience comes, no, it cannot be resolved in the head. It will seem very strange that for us this world is real, but for that person the world is not existing, and still this person is acting in this world. How? It will appear illogical also. But then that's the nature of this realization. So these standpoints are created from our standpoint. Now moving ahead. Tadvat pare brahmani vartamanaha sadatmana tisthati nanyadikshate smritir yatha swapna vilokitarthe tatha vida prashanamochanadau. Tadvat pare brahmani vartamanaha. One who has identification with Brahman, sadatmana tisthati na anya dikshate. This is again their standpoint. They live as Atman or Brahman all times. They don't see anyat, means duality they don't perceive. Smritir yatha swapna vilokitarthe tatha vida prashana mochanadav. How, when one has woken up, how does one recollect the dream? As just a faint memory. One knows it was not real. One doesn't derive any pleasure out of that, nor any pain. It's a faint memory because one woke up and one properly woke up, not in the in between avastha. One has properly woken up, then one realizes it's all just a dream. Nothing real, nothing solid, nothing substantial. In that way, this Jivan Mukta Tatha Vidaha Prashana Mochanadav, eating and all the daily kriyas, the maintenance, whatever one does, the Nitya Karma for the body, taking bath, eating, cleaning, all that. How does one think about it? This example is like after having woken up, how one thinks about the dream world and the dream objects. In that way, even the basic kriya of the body, mind, intellect, as though does not exist. This is their standpoint, Vartamanaha. They live in that complete identification that the entity may do. So we may see the Mahatma walking, talking, eating, bathing, all that. But from that Mahatma standpoint, Sadatmana Tishtati na anya dikshate. They don't see the duality. Now that is difficult for us to understand, because we are seeing them doing every day. 42 years, Gurudev woke up in the morning and he wrote letters. From his standpoint, nothing happened. From our standpoint, if we say, okay, he's writing letter, but then how to explain? So this is the in-between thing. That how a person who has woken up will recollect a dream. With what, how one will recollect the dream? Not with any sense of reality to it. It is just a faint memory. In that way, all the kriyas, the basic maintenance of the body also, so eating, talking, walking, those things also. Again, I'm saying these two are from our standpoint. To give us explanation, Shastra is saying, from their standpoint, none of this exists. That's why it is so difficult. And even the basic things, okay, no attachment to things, no attachment to people, that can still be understood. But food, he is eating food or not? Just now I gave this much of food, 4 idlis and sambar and some filter coffee. Now who ate that? People will ask such questions. Prove to me, Jivan Mukta did not eat. Okay, so for your standpoint, then the Shastra says, it is like this, that how you recollect a dream object, it appeared so real in the dream that you went through. But when you wake up, then how do you recollect that? It's non-existent. It was just a memory. It is nothing tangible, nothing substantial, nothing you can hold on to, nothing you can derive out of it. How one dismisses it, it just didn't exist. It was not real at all. There is no percentage to it saying ki, okay, 30% was real, 70% was unreal. Nothing, 100% gone. It is zero. No, but 4 idlis and sambar and that coffee, what happened to that? It's like the dream object. Gone. It doesn't exist. That example, the more one thinks about it, what reality one gives to the dream objects having woken up, that is the reality. So the day-to-day acts of eating and all this also, one will, from their standpoint, they have not eaten. That's why Durvasa Muni told those gopis. Now, gopis were on that side of the Yamuna. Yamuna is in floods and they have to take food to Durvasa Rishi. And they are scared if they don't take that food, that Durvasa Rishi will get angry. So then what did they did? They went to Krishna Bhagavan. Krishna Bhagavan said, tell Yamuna that if Krishna is a Nitya Brahmachari, Yamuna give way. He said, Are Bhagavan, oh Krishna, why are you doing mischief right now? That is Durvasa Muni. We have to reach there. Yamuna will not give way. You have 16,008 wives and none of these wives are unhappy. How can you be Nitya Brahmachari? He said, you go and tell. They told. Yamuna gave way. They went there, gave the food. Durvasa Rishi and his disciples ate nicely, properly. Now they have to go back. So Durvasa Rishi said, how did you come? So because Krishna said, I am a Nitya Brahmachari, so we came. So Durvasa Rishi said, tell them I am a Nitya Upvasi. Gopi said, Arey, just now we got so much food you ate. What Nitya Upvasi? But they can't tell that to Durvasa Rishi. He will fire them. He will curse them. So they went to Yamuna saying, if Durvasa is a Nitya Upvasi, you please give way. Yamuna gave way. So that story, when we hear from childhood, we have been hearing this story. We don't understand the depth and significance of it at that time. Even after coming to Vedant, we study that story, we understand, we reflect, then we think that, okay, so it is about non-doership. Karta bhav is not there. So if karta bhav is not there, karma phala doesn't apply to the karta because done in akartritva bhav, so it will not affect. So that is one another layer of the story. But the deeper layer is this. This doesn't exist at all. Swapnavat, you see, that smritir yatha swapna vilokitarthe. It's just a faint memory. Now if somebody says, oh, but it is still there, no, memory is still there. That's the limitation of the example. That means that person went through it. Like in the dream that person went through, then while coming out in the waking, then that person is remembering that as a faint memory, as though it doesn't exist. That's the limitation of the example. Doesn't mean that Jivan Mukta actually feels that I am going through all this and then having woken up is now remembering all this. No, no, no. That's a limitation of example. Now, moving ahead. Karmana nirmito dehaha prarabdham tasya kalpyatam नानादेरात्मनो युक्तं नैवात्मा karma nirmitah. Now karmana nirmito deha. This body, as we said earlier, the body is got to exhaust prarabdha karma. So karma has created this body. Prarabdha karma only has created this body. Body means all the three. Gross, subtle, causal, all. Prarabdham tasya kalpyatam. So one accepts that prarabdha belongs to this body, gross, subtle, causal. To these three, this prarabdha belongs. Na anadir atmano yuktam. It doesn't belong to the atma which is beginningless, which is anadi. Naivatma karma nirmita, because atma is not created by karma. See how many different ways the scripture is trying to explain to us that why prarabdha exists for the saint. One more reason says, because see, karma created the body, so prarabdha belongs to the body. Atma is not created by the body, so prarabdha does not belong to the body, and Jivan Mukta is identified with Atma, so Jivan Mukta has no prarabdha. This is logic. Proper logic. Cause of the body is prarabdha karma. So prarabdha karma also belongs to body. But cause of Atma is not karma. And Jivan Mukta is identified with Atma. So Jivan Mukta has no karma. Simple logic. Now, with this simple logic, one can understand, then that is great. So many examples, so many ways the Shastra is trying to tell. Because, and that the only way which one can only experience that one can go through when one is meeting a Jivan Mukta is Ascharya. The existence of Jivan Mukta only is an Ascharya. Think about that. First of all, to find a Jivan Mukta is not easy at all. Because who is a Jivan Mukta and why will they even be in this world? That itself is a big question. In the seeker state itself, one has so much vairagya towards the world. What is Jivan Mukti? It is realization, one absolute realization, woken up from this whole thing. Still, whatever is the reason, prarabdha, etc., which the Shastra says, so there will be Jivan Muktas. Now, to find the Jivan Mukta is not easy. And when we live with the Jivan Mukta, many times we won't even know sometimes that this person is a Jivan Mukta. That's the strangest part. One doesn't know also this person is Jivan Mukta. Until one doesn't have the vision, one has no idea this person is a Jivan Mukta. Or some grace, some punya karma one has done to recognize. Till then, nobody will know this person is a Jivan Mukta. So to find one Jivan Mukta only is not easy. Having found one Jivan Mukta, then to understand their state, that what are they going through? They are not existent at all, but still they are existent. It's like that Maya, that earlier if you saw in Vivek Chudamani when the one verse came, Sanyapya Sanna Ubhayatmikano, Bhinnapya Bhinna Ubhayatmikano, Sangapya Nanga Ubhayatmikano. It exists, but it does not exist. It has parts, but it has no parts. This Maya is it is inexplicable. So in that sense, Jivan Mukta also is inexplicable. The Jivan Mukta does not exist, but I am seeing Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta does not do any karma, but this Jivan Mukta here is doing karma. It's a mystery. If we go on probing into it, you see at one point, the Shastra will say some few things. But till that point, it tries to convey to us, this is the Jivan Mukta Sthiti, this is what the Jivan Mukta is going through. Prarabdha belongs to the BMI because Prarabdha is the cause for this BMI. But Atma is not caused by BMI, by Prarabdha. So the Atma doesn't have Prarabdha. So that is the 459. One more verse we will take. Ajo Nitya Shashvata iti. Sorry. Ajo Nityah Shashvata iti brute Shrutiramo Tadatmana tishthatosya kutah Tadatmana tishtato asya kuta prarabdha kalpana. So this is the reference from Kathopanishad. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha nahanyate hanyamane sharire. In the Kathopanishad also it comes, and from there Vedavyasji has shoplifted that verse straight and put in the Gita, in this second chapter. And in the Gita second chapter, what is there, that is quoted here. So Ajo Nitya Shashvata iti brute Shrutihi Amoghavak. So actually you see the word is Shruti here. So the quotation should be of Kathopanishad because Gita is the Smriti. And Kathopanishad is the Veda. So Shruti. So Ajo Nitya Shashvata. The nature of the self is unborn. Nitya, eternal. Shashvata, permanent. Iti brute Shrutihi. This is what the Shruti says. The Kathopanishad, the Veda says. Amoghavak. It is you cannot contradict that or you cannot deny that. It is Amoghavak. It's absolute declaration of the Shruti. Tadatmana tishthato asya. Tadatmana tishthato asya. For this person who is living completely identified with this state. Kuta prarabdha kalpana. How can there be prarabdha? So now, for today I will stop here. A little more is left of this shloka as well as this topic of prarabdha that we will continue tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.